The year is 1998. You just got done with a session of your newest favorite game, Quake. The single-player campaign didn't really interest you. The main reason you started playing Quake was so you could play the online multiplayer mode with your friends. And as you're getting ready to retire for the night, you wonder to yourself, killing shit in a video game sure is fun. But what is it all for? Well, a ragtag group of ex-employees from Microsoft asked this very same question. They envisioned a game like Quake that not only had fun gameplay elements, but a compelling story as well. These employees were so fed up with the mindless fragging offered by Doom and Quake that they left and made their own company, Valve. It's very rare to catch lightning in a bottle. Most companies stumble a few times before their breakout hit emerges. But Valve's first game, Half-Life, was like a hurricane in a bottle.
Good morning, and welcome to the Black Mesa Transit System. This automated train is provided for the security and convenience of the Black Mesa Research Facility personnel. The time is 8:47 a.m. Current topside temperature is 93 degrees, with an estimated high of 105. The Black Mesa compound is maintained at a pleasant 68 degrees at all times. This train is inbound from Level 3 dormitories to Sector C test labs and control facilities. If your intended destination is a high security area beyond Sector C, you will need to return to the central transit hub in Area 9.
Released in 1998, Half-Life was an instant success. Riding off the coattails of games like Doom and Quake, gamers were itching for a new game to fill the specific niches not catered to by the aforementioned games. Like I said in my previous video, Doom had little to no story. Don't get me wrong, Doom was a fantastic game. In fact, it made first-person shooters the poster child for PC gaming. But the story took a backseat to the actual gameplay. It wasn't important who you were playing as. The main character of Doom merely acted as a vessel for you to place yourself in. But this is where Half-Life comes in to fill the void. In Half-Life, you play as a theoretical physicist named Gordon Freeman. You work at a top-secret facility in the desert called Black Mesa and are tasked with completing strange and esoteric science experiments. When your assignment goes awry, a portal opens in the lab, bringing otherworldly creatures into our reality. And it's up to the player to fight through the facility and escape. Along the way, fighting aliens, zombies, and the government? This is an excellent setup and premise to a video game. The story was written by Mark Laidlaw, who actually was a science fiction author before writing for Half-Life. The game even featured fully voice-acted dialogue to help immerse you into this world.
Please, leave me alone until after the
I had a bunch
experiment.
of messages for you, but we had a system crash about 20 minutes ago, and I'm still trying to find my files. Just one of those days, I guess. They were having some problems down in the test chamber, too, but I think that's all straightened out.
Along with this, the graphics are truly spectacular for the time, and even hold up today in my opinion. Valve played around with lighting and tight spaces to amplify the horror elements of the game. The design philosophy Valve took when approaching Half-Life was actually pretty groundbreaking. So much, in fact, that it's still taught in game design classes to this day. After putting the player in a dark, cramped, and disturbing environment, the player would be flung into one of the many action sequences in the game. And after that rush of excitement, the game would pull you back for an extended puzzle sequence. All three of these elements had somewhat of a symbiotic relationship. Each sequence would play off of each other, amplifying the emotional response Valve was trying to get from the player. Now, I know we like to have fun on this show, but you've probably noticed how reverent I sound when I talk about this game. Truth is, I have a personal connection to Half-Life that I don't share with many other first-person shooters. And while Doom is what started it all, the FPS genre truly flourished after the release of Half-Life. If you imagine the lineage of FPSs as a tree, it would look something like this. Doom made Quake, which made Half-Life. We know this because Half-Life was built on the Quake engine, but Half-Life is where it branches out. Games like Counter-Strike, Day of Defeat, Team Fortress 2, Call of Duty, and pretty much any competitive FPS owes their success to either Half-Life or some relative of it. In fact, Half-Life had its own deathmatch mode in the form of Half-Life Deathmatch. But even despite all of this, Doom and Quake did have something that Half-Life didn't. levels. That's right, there are no levels in this game, but that only serves the narrative function of the game better. The story is never broken up by a level complete screen with your time and a tally of how many head crabs you killed. No, the game's 18 chapters blend seamlessly into one another like a daisy chain of cool shit. Only pausing for brief loading sequences. When entering a new sequence, the title of the chapter pops up in your field of vision, notifying you that you've progressed. This was done to help players from feeling lost as they explored this massive game. However, I do have memories of being completely blindsided by this feature, accidentally stumbling upon it like an idiot. The fuck did I do? And I gotta say, this game is mysterious. The whole time you're playing, you're being eerily watched by a strange man in a suit named G-Man, who comes up later in the story. Just trust me. There's so much lore in this game, I don't even know where to start. Let's just talk about the game. Half-Life features all the usual trappings of a first-person shooter. You've got a wide variety of weapons and ammo, plenty of things to shoot at, and a main character that can take more gunfire than a fucking Abrams tank. But where Half-Life takes a major detour is in its health and armor pickups. These essential parts of the old-school FPS genre are cleverly integrated into the game world as not to break the illusion. You get your health and armor from machines on the wall, which take time to heal and shield you, much like medicine being injected into your body or a battery recharging. This helps the world feel more real. Let's be honest, a floating health pickup spinning in the air isn't very realistic. Well then again, neither are bug aliens, or a giant baby that shoots lasers. So, who's really the asshole here? It's me. Anyways, the story in the world that Half-Life was trying to convey may not be super realistic, but it is super compelling. Even though it's all quite fantastical, it never feels forced. The suspension of disbelief I feel when I play this game is unmatched by any of its contemporaries. Usually, games will convey their story through long, boring, unskippable cutscenes, but Half-Life tells its story elements through scripted sequences that happen in-game and in real time. The opening sequence, for example, although long and unskippable, is happening to you. You're able to look around and truly take in the scenery of the world you'll soon be exploring. And that's another thing that sets Half-Life apart from the rest. Most first-person shooters went in with the mentality of game first, story last. And they weren't bad because of it, it just left a lot to be desired. Half-Life took a somewhat opposite approach. The story was put first well above anything else. But the miraculous thing was that the gameplay didn't suffer because of it. The gameplay is still action-packed while being precise and methodical. Every action taken always feels deliberate. In games like Doom and Quake, the main modus operandi is to go as fast as possible and pay no mind to the level. The level was just a canvas upon which you paint red with the blood of your enemies. Now I, for one, am a fan of turning my brain off and shooting bad guys, but the slower pace of Half-Life lends so much to the incredible level design. There are many moments in the game where you can just take a break and breathe it all in. Sometimes I'll sit in the offices of Black Mesa and pretend for a moment that I have a real job, and my parents are proud of me. Nah! All that crazy talk aside, all of these elements combined is what made Half-Life into a truly memorable experience. The game stuck out like a sore thumb in the sea of run-and-gun, action-packed menageries of blood and guts. And it's this game that made Valve into the mega-titan that runs PC gaming even to this day. Half-Life had such an incredible impact on the world of video games that everyone, young and old, are still waiting for that mythical third installment. Even if they've never played Half-Life, people are still privy to the classic line of, Half-Life 3 confirmed, bro. And even though Valve never really learned how to count to 3, they've still released some of the most impactful PC games of the 21st century. See, Valve took a quality over quantity approach when it came to game design. Many companies were of the belief that you could keep throwing darts at a board until something sticks. But Valve said, I am going to make a dart so fucking big that it will have no choice but to stick. And stick it did. The game received almost instant critical acclaim as soon as it hit the market. Half-Life went on to get over 50 PC Game of the Year awards. This is the game with the highest review scores that I've talked about yet. An aggregated review of Half-Life reached 96, a nearly perfect score. And as much as I'd like to say that Half-Life is some underrated hidden gem, well, that simply just isn't the case. Half-Life is truly one of the most influential games of the late 20th century, and perhaps of all time. And normally, I would have some kind of wacky outro, but, I don't really know how to end the video. Bye?